These are the best home and away wins of the Brisbane Lions in the life of my guest, Abby Coleman, who you know from B105 Breakfast. But you live in Brisbane, you're from Adelaide. It's not logical that you're a Brisbane Lions fan. But you have one of the best reasons to support.
I don't know if it was the best reason. I don't know if I want to share this. No, look, it's not the same as most footy fans where your parents were or your grandparents were, or someone who used to play. No, I would say that I'm not actually a footy fan. That sounds really weird.
It is weird considering we're going to talk about it for the next 20 minutes.
But I'm from Adelaide, so it wasn't that you said that you're a footy fan. It was just everyone watched it. Like, there was no other sport. Like, we've never had NRL besides the Adelaide Rams, short-lived. But it was like, I would say that I was never a football fan, but I would go to the games every weekend. Yeah. It was on the TV the whole time. I used to go and support SANFL, which was...
Oh, nice. The Bays. What was your team there?
The Bays.
The Bays. What are they called?
Glenelg.
Oh, Glenelg.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
Palindrome City.
Yeah. So I've always, supported them, and then my family were Adelaide Crows, and I never really, we're kind of into them.
That's why I like you.
And then
But to say you're not a footy fan, it's like saying you're a breathing fan. Like, footy's just part of life.
That's what I'm saying. It just is. So I just always know that to be the norm. And then because I don't know, I'm an Adelaide girl, I did my thing of date a footballer. But I did go to uni with him. I just want to say I'm not like a groupie.
Sure.
But I went to
What
uni
were you both
with
studying?
Good question. What was he studying? I was studying marketing. Anyway, moving on. We both had business subjects. But I was really surprised at that point how we would go out, and if Port were losing, people used to abuse him.
Oh, really?
And I was like, these are your supporters.
Yeah.
And they would abuse, and if we went out to clubs, it used to get like...
Go home and train.
Yeah, I've got an injury. And I was like, at that point I was like, maybe Port is not for me. And then I was like, he wasn't that nice to me. So then when we broke up, I decided in 2004 that I would support the Brisbane Lions, which had to be the worst year to come on board because, of course, they've just got 3 premiership wins.
You look like a bandwagon jumper.
Such a bandwagon, but I did used to like their jumpers, by the way. But anyway, so 2004 is when I really came on board, which was the worst year.
So you went
lost at the grand final.
You chose the Lions a little bit out of vindictive malice.
Total spite follow.
Great! I love that.
Total spite follow.
Take that, Warren Treadray. Don't mistreat my girl.
No, it was not Warren Treadray. Don't say that. No, but I just... Then it was kind of such a coincidence that I've supported them and used to go to the games, and then I got the job at B105 in Brisbane.
What year was that?
2011.
Perfect.
So then it was kind of like, I go, oh yeah, cool, I actually support the Lions. And they were like, really? I was like, yeah. And because so many people are NRL supporters up here, it was nice to have someone who, I guess, knew AFL. Yeah.
This is destiny. All right, let's get into it. Well, what are the happy memories? Number 5.
So round 3 against Collingwood in 2021.
Oh, I loved this game.
Well, I like it. You have to say anything where after all this game, it comes down to the final moment.
Yes.
And someone has just got the game on their shoulders.
Yeah, and as I recall, Zach Bailey had an opportunity to win the game the week before against Geelong, and it didn't work.
Yes, and he's a fantastic player.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. And I just go, this is like your make good. This is your make good moment.
Yeah.
And it can go either way.
And I remember, so Melbourne was in between lockdowns then.
Yes,
so everyone was out at the pub.
I forgot about you guys. Yeah.
We haven't. But it was one of the first times in months that I remember just the whole pub was watching a close game. Of course, we all wanted Collingwood to lose.
Yes.
And
But it's like they celebrated different. Like even the players just coming together at the end. You just go, we missed. I don't know, you miss that contact through social distancing where everything is like, we don't care anymore, we won!
I remember one bloke, because they all came together as a pack, and one bloke jumped on the top. And just crowd surfed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so, it was magical.
Yeah, that was a magical moment.
Number 4.
Would have to be in 2020, because That was an unbelievable year. I mean, for everyone.
For everyone.
But there was so much hoo-ha of like, hey, we're in lockdowns, this is happening, and sport still goes on. And I was like, no. Sport actually means a lot to people. They need to have the entertainment. You need to have the joy. But I understand there's a lot of people that couldn't do their job, and people were still enjoying football and playing football, I guess, when a lot of other things got stopped.
This is not the forum for a philosophical discussion.
Fine. All I'm saying is it was amazing because I still got to go to the football. And all I was trying to do was justify that I was a spoiled bitch who still got to go when no one else did. All right? There were
Sister, you go to those games. You do not apologise. I would have gone to those games.
Thank you.
There's not a single person watching.
They put on crowd noises, right? They had, remember when you could buy a seat there and they had the cardboard cutouts?
Yeah.
And they'd have flags over, behind the goals to represent like the cheer squad. And we still got to go to games. And
How did you get to go to games?
Well, because we do sponsorship here through work.
Right.
And I'm a ticket holder.
B105, 6 till 9 weekdays.
And I'm a ticket holder for the Brisbane Lions. So that's why...
You're an ambassador.
Yeah. So there was a very small group that went and we were all distanced out. There was one bar that was still open.
All right.
But it was just sporadic because you had to. But the weird thing is you could hear the players talk as if you're at country football.
Yes.
And it blew my mind and I was so fascinated by it. And Charlie Cameron, who I love to bits, I remember him talking about music and I was like, what is he talking about? Because that's when they started introducing music.
The where you play stuff after goals.
The best.
Yeah, I can sort of understand it for an empty stadium. It's terrible now.
It's not. It was the best.
Awful.
No, it's not. And like to have the whole crowd sing along. Why do you hate it so much?
Because
it's not how you're supposed to do it. Well, it's not cricket. It's footy, and you're allowed to have music.
It's a straw man argument here. I don't like it because you don't need to... a goal is exciting enough. Yeah. I don't need Baby Got Back being played over the top of it.
There is no Baby Got Back.
Well, there should be.
No, there is no Baby Got Back.
Great
There's Joe Danaher, which we all think is a little bit like, why is he doing Frozen Let It Go? And the reason for that, apparently he wouldn't commit to a song. And they're like, you have to. And I think it was Zorko who was like, you have to commit to a song. Right? So what's your song going to be? And he's like, I don't care, I don't know. And he goes, mate, if you don't pick one, we're just going to put on Frozen and Let It Go. And he goes, fine, let that be.
Great.
So that's what it's always been. But that was against the Crows. So it was either 2003, 2004.
A Coleman family derby.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was in 2020. And that was just a remarkable win to be there. It wasn't a close game, but it was me and hubby still there.
Yeah.
And I was excited to be out and just to be at it. I don't know, just had that atmosphere of being at the game was unbelievable.
It was a little nugget of normal in a sea of horror.
And then absolute spoiled brat when crowds came back. I was like, why is there a line at the bar?
Number 3.
Round 22, 2019, and this was a special one because we hadn't seen finals for quite some time.
Yeah, you'd done the very slow rebuild.
So I think the only time before that we made finals would have been 2009. So we made an appearance in finals, and then before that it was 2004, 2005.
Yep.
So we had a long moment.
It's always a special win.
You always, when you hear fans, and I do my thing, we're a young team, we're rebuilding,
yes.
all that cliches that you've done throughout the whole time that kind of may not have believed it. 2017 we were like wooden spooners.
Yeah.
So then to come back to that was just remarkable. I think it was McCarthy, maybe it was his 50th game.
It was definitely a landmark game, a milestone, and as I recall, Geelong were quite well ahead.
Yeah, they were. Yes, yeah. And then we just made that comeback, and I think it was him that kicked the winning goal.
It was. Do you know, I watched this in a pub in Darwin.
Did you?
And there was me and my Victorian mates were there watching the footy, and there was a table of Queenslanders who were all like, "Whoa, watching the GAFL." And we're like, mate, that's your team.
Whatever.
That's your this is great. I'm going, that's your team, Brisbane. They go, well, we don't care, whatever. The NRL game they were watching was a blowout, and slowly, as the Lions came back, they were watching. And by the end, they're high-fiving us. We're going, yeah, you love the real footy. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny when you're like, how are the Broncos going? Because the Gabba's sold out this weekend. Yeah.
I love the Code Wars, and you are on the front lines, and I thank you for your service. And the second best win of the Brisbane Lions home and away seasons, according to Abby Coleman. What is it?
It is Lions versus Melbourne. Now, I wouldn't say that we were playing...
This year?
Yeah, this year. So I wouldn't say that we were playing our best. It was a... Let's
you
just
started
say...
very badly.
it wasn't the best start to the year, but that's okay. We're firing at the right.
You are
So
now,
who cares?
depending on when you watch this.
But I just think psychologically, it's a lot to do to get over a grand final loss. And especially when we were playing so brilliantly by a couple of points, it was really traumatic. And I honestly feel like a lot of those players took a long time to
Absolutely. I've got a theory.
refine
If anyone gets
themselves.
flogged in a grand final, they don't make finals the next year.
Yeah.
And I've now got the theory, the close grand finals, you either galvanise
Yes,
and
yeah.
you're dominant, or you take a
Yeah,
while
we saw
to
what happened with
recover.
the Adelaide Crows. We know what happened with that.
Oh, yes.
But this was just a moment because we only won by a couple of points, but it changed the vibe of the year.
Oh,
I was
God.
like, we've done this now. Everyone was like, wait a minute, what just happened? And we didn't play our best at the start of the game, but we really came back. Now, I wasn't there. We were actually in Bali, and because my son and I are diehard fans, we were watching it on KO.
Yeah.
And we were screaming to the point where they were like, oh, do you want to go outside? And we were like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. So
when Balinese hospitality workers
we're
are
like,
going,
you're
even
being too loud.
you're too loud,
Yeah.
considering what they deal with every day.
It was
with
just a
drunk
turning point in the
Australians.
season for us.
Yeah.
We're like, wait a minute, what's happened? Because, there's a bit of talk at the start where you're like, is everything all right? Do you reckon they're okay?
Mm-hmm.
The boys are okay? What's happening? The staff do such an amazing job to then just have it going, oh, fuck yeah, we've got this. That was a good one.
And the number one win, I reckon all Lions fans will know what she's going to say. And I reckon even most footy nerds are going to know that. Because not many matches in the history of AFL football have a name.
Miracle on the grass.
Yeah.
That's what the commentator said. Do you know I'm actually tearing up? That is so pathetic.
No, it's not. It's brilliant.
It's pathetic. Like I said, not a footy fan. Miracle on the Grass, it was so amazing to me. It was round 13 and it was 2013. I even reckon Ash McGrath was like 13th pick. And I say
look
that
at this.
because this was like such an important game for him. Was his 200 game?
It was
Sure,
something,
it's
definitely a
200.
milestone, yeah.
And I actually had his brother and his family were like next to us.
Oh, now we're talking.
And it was the worst game. We were down by like 52 points,
Yeah,
right?
it was ridiculous.
And I had my son there and I dressed him in,
How old is he at this point?
I think he was 2.
Oh, makes anything harder,
He was
especially
2.
watching footy.
And my husband was overseas. So remember he had to wear Adelaide Crows, but because my husband was overseas, I put him in Brisbane Lions. And I went to the game, and because he was quite young, we were down by 52 points. We were like in the bottom 4, and we were playing Geelong that was in the top 4.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was like, wait a minute, we're
What are
gonna
we
lose
doing
this.
here?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
It wasn't a great season for us, but just to be down by that, and I remember I was like, I'm actually gonna leave because he was crying.
Yeah.
I had to get the bus home. I was like, let's just go. And I was like, come on, this is ridiculous. I'm there. Let's just watch a little bit. And then it started to change. They weren't doing so well, and we just started to kick goal after goal. And I was like, what is happening here? And then we were just jumping up at the end. I just could not believe when Ash McGrath
Yes.
had the final mark to win the game. Like that
It was
is-
ages
that
out,
is-
though.
Oh, that was just like, whoa!
Because it looked for a second like he was going to, too far out. No one could score from there. Why would the gods make it so cruel?
I don't, but I think it was even so much, like Rich was just such a solid long kick, and I think it was him that kicked to him, or he was very important in being able to get it to Ash McGrath, and I was just like, what's the chances in his 200 game?
Yeah.
Does he kick the winning goal? I was in tears, and then we got the bus on the way home, and it was just epic. It
Yes.
was just all the feels, even for not being the most amazing season and just being like on the bottom of the ladder. I was like, that is what dreams are made of,
Yeah.
and it's got its name.
It's got a name. I can't think of another game, like maybe Floodgate, which is Dogs
Yeah.
v Bombers in 2000.
And I was like, did he have that catchphrase written down? One day want to use it for when there was something like
totally.
this. But
Yeah.
that was it was the best comeback. And it's also taught me a little bit of a lesson, because I am notorious for saying, oh, great. Nah, we've lost it now. We've
Yeah.
lost it now. And now I go, no, you got to remember, miracle on the grass. And I still get teary. And I still look at the photo, because I got a photo of my son and I there at the game after. And I was like,
That's Abby's list. What do you reckon, Lions fans? Is there any games that she missed that are even better wins during the home and away season? Obviously, there's finals, there's grand finals, there's all of that, but we're just doing home and away. Let us know in the comments. Listen to B105 every single, just all day, every day. Just get a radio. Actually, it doesn't matter if you even listen to it. Get a ratings book, fill it out, and make them number one. Abby, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I hope you win the flag. Do you know?
We don't jinx ourselves.
No, lids on, that's fine.
There might be a big game that we're going to in September because the boys deserve it and the fans deserve it.
Absolutely. No, what I was going to say is I really hope Hugh McCluggage gets the Brownlow because not only is he a ripping player, it's one of the best names in the AFL. The Scottish suitcase, Hugh McCluggage.
It's pretty good.
He's awesome. And all Lions are awesome. Good luck.